My name's Sherita, and my husband Jared and I and our 4 kids have been coming to Living Water now for a little over 2 years. My little girl, Destiny, when she was 2 years old, she was diagnosed with a congenital muscular disorder, which affects her joints and, among other things, it gives her severe scoliosis. My husband and I found out about that when she was 2, and I think that moment is when our faith was tested the most. And that's probably where my relationship with the Lord grew during that 6-year span after getting her diagnosis. When the time came for us to finally go through with the surgery, we went in for a pre-surgical planning conference where we got to sit down with the doctors, have our questions answered, get tests, MRIs. And that day we learned that she couldn't get the magic rods, which is the rods we had hoped for all this time, because she was so little and she was so thin that they were worried it wouldn't fit in her back. So she had to go with the traditional rods. And that's harder because with the traditional rods, you have to keep going in for several surgeries to have the rods lengthen so that she can grow taller. Whereas with the magic rods, there are no more surgeries. They put a magnet on her back and lengthen them that way every few months. And then we also learned that her curve had gotten even more severe and she lost flexibility. So the surgeon was worried that he wouldn't be able to correct it very much. He'd get some, enough to stop her from growing to a fatal state, but not as much as we'd hoped for. So we left that meeting feeling kind of defeated. Then the morning of surgery finally came, and I remember waking up with just this peace, this calm over me. I was actually happy, even though I was expecting to be a wreck. In fact, on the way to the hospital, I was the one cheering my husband up and giving him the pep talk. So I think I knew then that God was with me that day because I was just feeling great. After she was taken back for surgery, we got our first update a little while later, and the nurse called us and said, the doctor said for some reason he wants to try to put the magic rods in. And we were so shocked but happy. And she said, don't get your hopes up high. It's just he felt like he could at least try, because if it didn't work out, he'll just stop and put the traditional rods in as planned. So when the surgeon came out, his first words to us when he walked up and sat down was, by the grace of God. That's what he said. He said, by the grace of God, the magic rods got in. I put them in and they worked fine. And then he sat down and he showed us the pictures of her spine with the rod and the hardware. It was 90 degrees, and he was hoping he could get it at least to 65 degrees, which is where we started, because she had no flexion. She lost a lot of flexion. Well, her spine was practically straight. He said that initial day showing us the side by side, I'm like, what? It just looked incredible. And there was no measurements at that moment, but just by a bird's eye look, he said that's probably maybe 20 degrees. When Destiny woke up from surgery and we went in to see her, she initially was crying and in a lot of pain and didn't know what was going on. So as the nurse gave her more medicine, we were talking to her and telling her it went great and her back was fixed. She finally calmed down a little bit and we were all sitting down, but then she starts crying again and we all hop up like, what's wrong? And she said, am I gonna get to thank them? And we said, who? The doctors, everybody who fixed my back, I gotta thank them. So that was a special moment, and we'll always remember that moment. I would tell anyone out there who's waiting for their miracle to first and foremost have faith, keep the hope, and know that even if you may be asking for a specific miracle or for a specific outcome, God may still be giving you a miracle his own way, even if it's not what you hope for, because he knows what's best. And you just have to have patience, because with Destiny, it was a long journey, but God was there all along. Even if it wasn't the way I wanted it to be, he was there.